Page 555. Page 556. Page 557. Page 558. Page 559. Senator Ibrahim Umar Kurufiz, Katsina Central.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, my distinguished colleague. My name is Umar Ibrahim Kurufi from Katsina Central. I rise to move that the vote and proceeding of Wednesday, 12th October should be approved. I so move.
Senator Rose Oku, Cross River North.
My name is Senator Rose Okwedioko. I represent Cross River North. I stand to second the motion to adopt the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 12th December. 12th October. I so move.
You so second. Those in favor that the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 12th October 2016 be hereby approved, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 12th October 2016 is hereby approved. Letter from Senator Matthew Rugidi. Senate President, reminder and invitation to the coronation ceremonies of the Oba of Benin. I humbly write on behalf of my family, the Benin Traditional Council, the organizing committee, and the good people of Edo South Senatorial District to remind and invite you and the entire members of the 8th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to the ceremonies to mark the coronation of Ambassador Ahinedin Iredo as the new Oba of Benin Kingdom. The Benin monarchy is one of the very few consistently hereditary monarchies in the world and marks the zenith of tradition, culture, and a rich history that will be witnessed by the entire world. The event will hold on Thursday, October 20, 2016 at 10 a.m. in Benin City, Edo State, and the attendants and members of this respectable house will make that history richer. Please accept my sincere gratitude for your acceptance of this invitation, whilst looking forward to having you at the event. Signed by Senator Matthew Rugidi. I wish to acknowledge the presence of staff and students of the Incubators Secondary Academy, Raban Road, Kaduna State, and Farmer Islamic International School, Gorimpa Estate, Abuja, who are in a gallery to observe Senate proceedings. I wish them fruitful observation of the Senate proceedings. Please sit down. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the first business of the day is the presentation of the House bill standing in my name. Standing in my name, the Pensions Rights of Judges Act Cap P. LF, Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004 Amendment Bill 2016. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Pension Rights of Judges Act, Cap P5, LFN 2004, Amendment Bill 2016, HB 6, first reading.
Pension Rights of Judges Act, Cap P5, LFN 2004, Amendment Bill 2016, HB 6, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
The second business of the day is still presentation of a House bill standing in my name on the Federal Capital Territory District Courts Establishment, etc. Bill 2016. Mr. President.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Capital Territory District Courts Establishment, etc. Bill 2016, HB 7, first reading.
Federal Capital Territory District Courts Establishment, etc. Bill 2016, HB 7, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
The third business of the day is still the presentation of a House bill on the River Basin Development Authority Act, Cap R9, Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004, Amendment Bill 2016. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, River Basin Development Authority Act, Cap R9, LFN 2004, Amendment Bill 2016, HB 58, HB 235, HB 350, first reading.
River Basin Development Authority Act, Cap R9, LFN 2004, Amendment Bill 2016, HB 58, 235, 350, first reading taken.
The fourth business of the day is still presentation of a House bill standing in my name on the compulsory treatment and care of victims of gunshots Bill 2016. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, compulsory treatment and care of victims of gunshots Bill 2016, HB 119, first reading.
Compulsory treatment and care of victims of gunshots Bill 2016, HB 119, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
The fifth business of the day is still presentation of a House bill standing in my name on the National Film and Video Censor Board Act, Cap N40, the Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004, Amendment Bill 2016. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Film and Video Censor Board Act, Cap N40, LFN 2004, Amendment Bill 2016, HB 224, first reading.
National Film and Video Censors Board Act, Cap N40, LFN 2004, Amendment Bill 2016, HB 224, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
The sixth business of the day, Mr. President, is a presentation of a report on the Sexual Harassment in Tertiary Institution Bill 2016. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator David Umoru, the chairman of the committee, to present the report.
It's to be laid, I think that's it. Just move the motion to lay.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is David Umaru. I represent Niger East. I rise to move the motion that the distinguished Senate do receive the report of the Committee on Judiciary on the Sexual Harassment in Tertiary Institutions Bill 2016, SB 262. I so move.
Senator Godfrey Chukwuka Utazi.
Mr. President, I am Senator Chukwuko Taze. I represent the good people of Enugu North Central District of Enugu State. I want to second the motion that the report of the Committee of the Judiciary and Human Rights and the Legal Matters on Sexual Harassment in Tertiary Institution Bill be accepted. I second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate do receive the report of the Committee on Judiciary on the Sexual Harassment in Tertiary Institution Bill 2016 SB 262 say aye. Those against say nay. Ayes have it. Senator David will come and lead the report. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the first order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Ad hoc Committee on the Northeast Development Commission Bill 2016. Distinguished senators, you recall that the report of the committee was laid on Wednesday, 21st September 2016. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Samuel Egu, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Senator Sam Egu.
Mr. President, I plead that since the report is not yet circulated, that we give us just a few minutes until they are circulated before I present it, Mr. President.
Sorry, Mr. President, I just understand that the report is being produced now and it will soon be circulated. So we take the next order of the day and then get back to it. I move that we suspend the consideration till the report is circulated.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion as moved by the Senate leader. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that we step down this report for a few minutes, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader will say.
Sir, Mr. President, the next order of the day is still presentation and consideration of report by the Chairman Police. But I can't find him too. Chairman Police. So we'll take the next order. So, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, I still move that we suspend consideration of the next order, and hopefully the chairman will be around by the time we finish with the next order of the day. So I so move that we suspend this one for a while.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we suspend the next order until such a time that the chairman is ready. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that we do defer consideration of this report until later in the day, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, for your understanding. The next order of the day is still presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development on the Food Security Bill 2016. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, you will recall that the report of the committee was laid on Tuesday, June 14th, 2016. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Abdullahi Adamu, the Sarkin Yaki of Kefi, and chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Senator Abdullahi Adamu.
That's why PDP has collapsed. After we left. And the president is my witness.
Senator, your mic is not working.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I am Senator Abdullahi Adamu, and I represent Nasarawa West Senatorial District. I rise, Mr. President, to move the motion for the presentation of the report on the bill for an act to establish the Food Security Bill and for other matters connected therewith, 2016, SB 71. I so move, Mr. President.
Senator Clifford Odia.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Clifford Odia from Edo Central. I rise to support the motion that this House discuss the Food Security Bill 2016. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate do consider the reports of the Committee on Agriculture on the Food Security Bill 2016 SB 71, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Abdullahi, present your report, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. The report on a bill for an act to establish the Food Security Bill and for other matters connected therewith, 2016 SB 71. Introduction. The Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, at its sitting on Tuesday, the 3rd of May, 2016, read for the second time the bill for an act to establish the Food Security Bill 2016 SB 71 and referred same to the Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development for further legislative action. This bill seeks to make provision for freedom from hunger, create basic rights to food of accessible and affordable quality, and the right of every child to basic nutrition. This right is a basic human right, which protects the right of all human beings to be free from hunger, food insecurity, and malnutrition. It is important to point out that food security means far more than having sufficient food to meet human needs on a national basis. Other very important factors include access to safe drinking water, primary health care, and environmental hygiene. Membership of the committee is produced on that page. Committee's consideration of the bill. Methodology adopted. In carrying out this assignment, the committee adopted the following methodology. Placed advertisements in electronic and print media calling for submission of memoranda and participation at the public hearing. Conducted public hearing on Thursday, 2nd June 2016 in order to get the views and opinions of stakeholders and general public. Collated memoranda from the general public and consulted with legal drafting experts. The following participants were present at the public hearing and made contributions. From the information gathered, the committee had a close-by-close consideration of the bill and came up with these recommendations in the report. Observations. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, after the World Food Crisis in 2008, developing countries started enacting laws aimed at food security. Mauritius, for example, enacted a food security fund to enhance local production of food by tackling all the problems militating against it. A number of developing countries that hitherto suffered from famine and hunger can now meet the nutritional needs of the most vulnerable, which this bill identifies as food-poor persons. For instance, Central and East Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean have made huge progress in eradicating extreme hunger. The Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, adopted by the world leaders in 2015, includes a set of 17 SDGs to end poverty, fight insecurity, among others. Goal number 2 aims to end all forms of hunger and malnutrition from 2030, with the intent that all people, especially children, and the more vulnerable, have access to sufficient and nutritious food all year round. In view of the above, Nigeria can rightly enact a food security law, with the aim of ensuring adequate food security in line with international best practices. Objectives. The bill seeks, among other things, provide a framework that promotes the realization of the right to freedom from hunger and access to food of acceptable quality as a fundamental human right, promote food production, self-sustenance, and food security, provide a framework for planning, budgeting, and implementation of national policies on food security and nutrition using a rights-based approach, and to ensure the participation of right holders and the accountability of duty holders. It also seeks to provide for a cross-sectional networking platform comprising all relevant ministries, agencies, and actors concerned with the production, storage, and sale of food, while ensuring access to food for all Nigerians at all times. Recommendations. After a close-by-close consideration of the bill, which is made up of 10... Is the DSP himself, so... Mr. President, recommendations. After a close-by-close consideration of the bill, which is made up of 10 parts, consisting of 51 clauses, 2 schedules, and an explanatory memoranda, the committee recommends as follows. New insertions. Clause 12, sub 1, G. Amended clauses. Clause 2, sub 1, 1. Retain all clauses in the bill. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, food and its production are the most basic of human concerns and exist from the foundation of civilization. Despite the tremendous progress achieved by humanity, we continue to struggle to meet this basic need of mankind. This hallowed chamber will do the most needful if full support is given to the passage of this bill at no better auspicious time than now, that the country is facing challenges of food security, production, and marketing. The committee strongly recommends that the passage of this bill into law will provide a legal backing and regulatory framework on food security for Nigeria. Conclusion. The committee would like to thank the Senate President, the Deputy Senate President, principal officers of the Senate, and the entire members of the distinguished chamber will give us the opportunity to serve in this capacity. And so much, Mr. President.
Thank you. Any comments? Otherwise, we'll move into committee of the whole to take the clause by clause. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that this Senate do resolve into the committee of the whole to consider the report. I so move.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I rise to second the motion that we resolve into the committee of the whole to do a clause-by-clause consideration of this bill. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor, in support of the motion, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, there are 50 clauses here. Start from page 1. Those in favor of that clause 1 and 2 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Page. Let me put that question here. Those in favor of that clause 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 2. Those in favor of clause 2.1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 2.2 on page 3. Those in favor of clause 2.2 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 3 and 4. Those in favor of that clause 3 and 4 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause, page 5, clause 5. Those in favor of that clause 5 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Those in favor of that clause 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Page 12. Those in favor of that clauses 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Page 14. Clause 17. Those in favor of that clause 17, 18, 19 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 20. Those in favor of clause 20, 21, 22, and 23 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 24. Those in favor of clause 24, 25, 26, and 27 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 28 on page 17. Those in favor of clause 28 and 29 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 30 on page 18. Those in favor of that clause 30 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 31. Clause 30. Senator Matthew Rogidi.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, and Senator Matthew Rogide, those South. I'm looking at 31C. 31C, collaborate with agency and agencies in the state in ensuring coordinated approach in facilitating the access of food in the state. That off. Vito. Thank you.
Yeah, noted it. 31C, yeah, to food. Those in favor of clause 31 stands part of the bill. 31 and 32 stands part of the bill. Say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 33. Those in favor of clause 33 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 34. Those in favor of clause 34 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 35. Those in favor of clause 35, 36, 37, 38. Those in favor of clause 35, 36, 37, 38 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 39. Those in favor of clause 39 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 40 and 41. Those in favor of clause 40 and 41 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 42. Those in favor that clause 42 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 43. Yes, Senator Yusabi.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I think with respect to clause 44, I'm looking at the punitive measure. I thought you said 43, 44, 45. 43. Okay, I'm okay, man. It's 44, I want.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that clause 43 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 44. Senator Yusabi, your comment.
Yes, sir. I'm just looking at the punitive measure where 5 million was given in 43. Now, in 44, the offense include something having to do with the procurement process. And if you look at the fine of 200,000 in comparison with the first one, I think this is a little bit lenient. So I don't know if we can, I feel it is lenient because if you look at the first one, a person who diverts, but here it has to do with procurement. And I'm of the opinion that here, because procurement is involved, and it's a more grievous offense, and the punishment should, or the fine should necessarily be higher.
Any comments on this? Chairman.
Your Excellency, what we have here is essentially an outcome of the debates or discussions we had during the public hearing. It is true, on the observation of my dear colleague, that on the face of it, it might appear very small compared with the penalty, provided, earlier on for offenses, even though the offense may not be identical. If this distinguished chamber is of the opinion that there should be an increase, I have no objection, but we convey the spirit of the public hearing that we had.
Can I put a question then? What Senator Yusabi is suggesting, that we should maintain the same type of fine in 43 and 44. So does anybody have other comments before I put the question? Yes, Senator Marafa. Then after that, Senator Maru.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to lend my support to what my distinguished colleague and brother Ali Yusabi said, and I want you to include 45 because it is almost the same thing, so that we don't need to come back to it. And even in 46 has relates to two issues. I have no problem with the use of the food eligibility card because to my mind that relates to the person that uses it. But the first part of it says offenses relating to the issuance and the use. So the issuance part is a very serious matter because it relates to the people that will issue the card and they can abuse it. Yes, but and the fine in both 44, 45, and 46, to my mind, like my brother said, are really too lenient and they can be thoroughly abused.
Put the question for 44 then. The question 44 is that those in favor of that 44...
I think we should go back to 43, really. We take it from 43 because they are all offenses-related issues. Because if you look at 43, we are talking about somebody who had already diverted the food to the wrong place. So what I'm saying, this law, is it not necessary that we should add that what had been diverted should be recovered even before prosecution? Because you have to recover. But because what this is saying is just prosecution, what you should pay as prosecution. Pardon?
So what are you? So
what I'm saying, a person who diverts fund or food meant for the food distribution program or the food subsidy program to a person other than its intended beneficiary at any point along the food distribution chain commits an offense and shall be made to recover, to return or refund the funds or the food diverted. Then in addition on conviction should be made to pay 5 million, 10 years imprisonment or both. 10 years imprisonment or both. That is another little amendment because what that says is 8 years. So you can see I have two amendments there, Mr. President. One is the recovery or refund. Then another one is on conviction, 5 million or 10 years imprisonment or both. Then I support the one he has moved, at least we'll raise the fine, not 250,000. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think to clear this issue, Mr. President, there is a need for us to clearly understand the issues that are involved in 43 and 44. 43 refers to the thief, and 44 refers to the receiver of stolen property. Now, both are guilty. Now, the issue is to determine the extent of guilt, and normally, both the thief and the receiver, because if there is nobody to receive, the thief will have no incentive to steal. Therefore, in that case, I support the position that apart from recovering what was lost, we should also insist that both the thief and the receiver receive the same punishment. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, distinguished colleagues, so go back to 43, and the question I put is 43 as amended, that the clause should be amended to read, a person who diverts funds or food meant for the food distribution program or the food subsidy program to a person other than its intended beneficiary at any point along the distribution chain commits an offense and shall be made to refund the food diverted shall be made to refund the food diverted and on conviction be liable to a fine not exceeding 5 million naira or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years or to both. I'll put the question. Those in favor of clause 3 as amended to be some part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 44. There's also an amended there as well. A person who procures any food, commodities or services in relation to a food distribution program or food subsidy program in a manner contrary to any written law on procurement commits an offense and shall be liable and be made to refund the food diverted and on conviction to a fine not exceeding 5 million naira or to imprisonment for a term of 10 years or both, or to both. Yes, and to David Mo.
Mr. President, I have a little observation to make here. Under our laws, there is the presumption of innocence. If you order that the food be recovered before conviction, then you are going against that fundamental principle, because he cannot be found guilty until after conviction.
Is it on conviction?
No. Is it on conviction or before conviction?
On conviction.
I fully understand the line of thought of distinguished colleague, but the presumption here is before any order, there's a presumption that the person has been given fair hearing, because you don't establish offense until you try. And it is on conviction. One, what is taken should be returned. And on conviction, yes.
Mine is off.
It refuses to go off.
Secretary, please note that the amendment be made to refund the food diverted should come after on conviction. Okay. All right, back to 44. I put the question. Those in favor of 44 as amended, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 45. Clause 45, the amendment here is to do with the fine. Yes? So to read, a person who administers the eligibility criteria index in a manner other than the prescribed under this act commits an offense and shall be liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 5 million naira or to a term imprisonment of 10 years or to both. Yes, those in favor of 45 as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 46. Clause 46 as amended to read, a person who fraudulently acquires, issues or otherwise uses a food eligibility card commits an offense and shall be liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 5 million naira or to a term of imprisonment of, are we saying 10 years again? Okay, I'll put the question for 5 years and say, a person fraudulently acquires, issues or otherwise uses a food eligibility card, commits an offense and shall be liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 5 million naira or to a term of imprisonment of 5 years or to both. Those in favor of 46 as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 47. Clause 47. Any amendment there or? Yes, Martha.
47 needs to be looked into too, sir, because the fine is too lenient too. It's just saying a person who is convicted of on our offense under this act for which no penalty is provided shall be liable to a fine not exceeding 100,000 naira. It is very good because it captures maybe the unforeseen issues, but then the 100,000 naira might be too inadequate, or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years. So I'm of the view that maybe it should be raised to like 2 million naira and the fine may be retained.
Anybody else want to this? Senator Mao? Robin?
Well, Mr. President, what I'm saying is that at least let it flow. Because when we are talking about imprisonment of 5 years or both, then I think we should flow. Let it also be 5 million. Because the essence of all this is deterrent to stop people from committing the offense. And if they find out that it's better not to commit it than to go pay 5 million, they will stop. So let's put the same 5 million, Mr. President.
Thank you for approving the question. Those in favor of clause 47 as amended, that is, a person who is convicted of an offense under this act for which no penalty is provided shall be liable to a fine not exceeding 5 million naira or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years or to both. Those in favor of 47 as amended should stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 48. Those in favor of that clause 48 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 49. Yes, Senator Yusuf.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I think in making this provision where a minister is asked to, in consultation with agencies, make certain general regulations, I think there is need for us to put some clause to the effect that it shouldn't be done to avert a very strong technical advice on the subject matter, so that we don't find ourselves empowering the institution to carry out a mandate, but based on certain political exigency, somebody coming in on just political ground to stop that agency from performing the functions that we have so eloquently described in this act. So I think I want us to put a clause, a kind of exemption clause, to say that whatever general regulations that are going to be made must be done within the confines of the technical subject matter of that agency, as in this case, the food security. So I think here, the minister in consultation with the agency may make regulations generally for the effective implementation of the provision of this act. Without prejudice in the generality of subsection 1, the minister may make regulations, and then those things that are given, the various clauses. Sir?
Where do you want it in? Is it section 1 or section 2 of 49? One reads, the minister in consultation with the agency may make regulation generally for the effective implementation of the provision of this act. There's nothing wrong with that one. Yeah, you're satisfied with that one. Then 49.2, without prejudice to the generality of subsection 1, the minister may make regulations A, B, C, D to G. So where exactly are you suggesting that it needs to be amended? Yeah, go ahead.
It's maybe based on this last one, it's okay if that first one, because it means the first one is even redundant now. It flows, okay. It's correct.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that clause 49 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 50 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the first schedule, those in favor that paragraphs 1 to 9 of the first schedule sounds part of the schedule say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that paragraphs 8 to N stands part of the second schedule say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Short title, page 30. So, those in favor that the title stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum on page 33 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the long title on page 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, I move that we revert to plenary to report progress.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we revert to plenary to report progress as was second.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee of Agriculture and Rural Development on the Food Security Bill 2016 and approved as follows. Clauses 1 to 10 as recommended, 11 to 20 as recommended, 21 to 30 as recommended, 31 as amended, 32 to 42 as recommended, 43 to 47 as amended, 48 to 50 as recommended, schedules as recommended, short title as recommended, long title as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that the Food Security Bill 2016 be now read the third time. I so move.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that this bill be now read a third time. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that this bill, the Food Security Bill 2016 be read the third time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to make provisions for freedom from hunger and the right to adequate food of acceptance quality, the right of every child to basic nutrition, and for connected purposes 2016, third reading.
The bill for an act to make provisions for freedom from hunger and the right to adequate food of acceptance quality, the rights of every child to basic nutrition, and for connected purposes 2016, third reading taken. This bill is read the third time and passed. I want to commend the Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development for this report. As we all agree, food security is a fundamental right and is a pillar for national security. I'm happy that we're passing this at this particular time, particularly as regards to also sanctions for those who attempt to divert food that is meant for people all over the world, all over the parts of the country, as we've seen in the case in the Northeast. We hope this bill will prevent such incidents and that we'll continue to work to make food available for all. Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, the next order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Ad Hoc Committee on the Northeast Development Commission Bill 2016. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, you will recall that the report of the committee was laid on Wednesday, 21st September 2016. Mr. President, you may now wish to invite distinguished Senator Sam Egu, chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Senator Sam Egu.
Thank you, Mr. President. I remain Senator Sam Egu, representing the good people of Ebonyi North Senatorial Zone. I move that the Senate do consider the report of the Committee on the Northeast Development Commission Bill 2016, SB 31. I so move.
Senator Bintamasi Garba.
Bintamasi Garba, Adama North Senatorial Zone. I rise to second the motion as heavily moved by my colleague. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate do consider the report of the Ad Hoc Committee on the Northeast Development Commission Bill 2016, SB 31. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Samuel.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Senate, at its plenary sitting on Tuesday, 14 June 2016, constituted an ad hoc committee to determine the location of the headquarters of the Northeast Development Commission and to re-examine the financial provisions funding for the Commission as contained in the Bill SB 163. Methodology. The ad hoc committee met twice, whereby it deliberated extensively and agreed as follows. Location of the headquarters. The committee discussed the possible location of the headquarters of the Northeast Development Commission. It considered the scope of distinction, security, connectivity, availability of supports, and the general opinion of those from the zone. Finding. The committee reviewed and agreed with the funding arrangement that was proposed in the bill, but for the aspects that seek 5% of the federal VAT without a time frame. Consequently, the committee reviewed the amount to 3% of the federal VAT for the period of 10 years that will serve as intervention from the federal government. Resolution. The committee resolved as follows. A, the headquarters should be located in Maiduguri, full stop. Please cancel the other sentence that talked about temporary office in Abuja. That was due to typographical error. B, the committee agreed that 3%, not 5%, of federal VAT for a period of 10 years should be allocated to Northeast Development Commission. Mr. President, we wish to thank you for the opportunity given to the committee to present this report. Thank you, sir.
Any comments? Otherwise, we'll go to committee of the... Yeah? Senator Sam... Senator Jimmy, can you get up? When you say something, can you stand and say what you...
On what? Because if it's VAT on alcoholic drinks, then it cannot work. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Jimmy, I didn't hear you at all.
Mr. President, I'm asking what portion of the VAT is being used. Because if it is VAT taken from alcoholic drinks that are not consumed there, it will not be appropriate.
What is it? What is it?
We're coming from, Mr. President.
Senator Sam, Senator Sam, you want to comment on that? Okay, leader.
The statement of this alcohol, the consumption is disputable. Unless we do a survey to do, because we have a lot of good drinkers in our place too. Heavy drinkers in our place. And some are that don't drink. So they are heavy drinkers, just as there are so many people that don't drink also. So,
distinguished colleagues, if there are no other comments, we will move to resolve to committee of the whole and consider any other comments that later. Thank you.
Move that we resolve into committee of.
We are not taking clause, but I guess we can just take it from here. Yeah. Any other observation is where I put the question on the resolution of the committees. Okay, I'll go to recommendations. Recommendation 1. I've not even started leader. Let me put the question. Recommendation 1. Those in favor of recommendation 1, as read by Senator Sam, that means the headquarters should be located in Maiduguri, full stop. Those in favor of recommendation 1 say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Recommendation 2, that the committee agreed that 3% of VAT for a period of 10 years should be allocated to Northeast Development Commission. Those in favor of recommendation 2 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, I want to thank the chairman of the ad hoc committee for a job well done. And with this now, with the committee, committee please ensure by next week the report comes so that we can actually consider the report by next week. All right, thank you. Leader of the Senate.
That's it, sir?
Third form.
Third form?
Third form.
Third form.
That's all, yes. Sorry. Was it the past other people?
Yeah,
the past. For him to make presentation.
When the tertiary education and...
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, thank you for your patience. It's just that we had a little mix-up because of the changes. The next order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Tertiary Education on the JAMB Act Amendment Bill 2016. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, you recall that the report of the committee was laid on Tuesday, 11th October 2016. Mr. President, you may wish to now invite distinguished Senator Jibril Barau, chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Senator Barau Jibril.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Barau I. Jibrin. I represent Kano North in this August Senate. Mr. President, I rise to move that this Senate do consider the report of the Committee on Tertiary Education and TED Fund on the JAMB Act Amendment Bill 2016 SB 245. Mr. President, I so move.
Senator Danjumala.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I rise to support the motion raised by my brother for the report on the bill for an act to amend the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board Act and for other matters concerned. I so move.
It's your second. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate do receive the report of the Committee on Tertiary Education on the JAMB Act, Amendment Bill 2016 SB 245, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Barau Jibril, present your report.
Mr. President, this is the report on a bill for an act to amend the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board Act and for other matters connected thereof. 2016 SB 245, referred to the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund. Mr. President, we may recall that on Wednesday, 1st June 2016, the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria at its sitting read JAMB Amendment Bill 2016 SB 245 the second time and refers him to the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund. The purpose of the bill is to amend the JAMB Act to increase validity period of JAMB examination from 1 academic year to 3 academic years. Committee's consideration. The committee, in considering the bill, made reference to votes and proceedings and verbatim reports of Wednesday, 2nd March 2016, particularly to the contributions of members regarding the financial hardship experienced yearly by parents and guardians of pupils in sponsoring the candidates for JAMB examination. Committee's recommendations. This committee recommends as follows. 1. Section 5B, C, D, E be returned as amended. 2. Section 6, newly inserted, be returned as amended. 3. Section 5B, C, D, E, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 of the Principal Act be returned as 5C, D, E, F, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19, and retained as amended. The short title be retained as amended as well. That is 4. This bill may be cited as the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board Act, Amendment Bill 2016. Mr. President, the conclusion of the committee is that the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria do approve its recommendations accordingly. The committee wishes to express its profound gratitude to the entire Senate for its usual support, and accordingly all the Senate will give this bill a quick passage. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any comments? I think it's a straightforward bill. Let's leader of the Senate can go to committee of the whole to consider the report close by close.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I move that we resolve into the committee of a whole to consider the bill.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that we resolve into committee of the whole to consider this report. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, there are just 4 clauses here. Clause 1, those in favor that clause 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 2. Those in favor that clause 2 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 3. Those in favor that clause 3 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 4. Those in favor that clause 4 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the short title clause 5 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the long title on page 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that we revert to plenary to report progress. I so move.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we revert to plenary to report progress. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that we revert back to plenary to report progress say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate and the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Tertiary Education on the JAMB Act, Amendment Bill 2016, and approved as follows. Clause 1 to 4 as recommended, long title as recommended, short title as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that the JAMB Act Amendment Bill 2016 be now read the third time.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that this bill be now read the third time. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the JAMB Act Amendment Bill 2016 be read the third time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This bill is now read the third. Okay. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the JAMB, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board Act, and for other matters connected therewith, 2016, third reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board Act and for other matters connected therewith, 2016, third reading. This bill is read the third time and passed. I want to thank the Committee on Tertiary Education and everybody in this bill that was just passed, which will reduce great relief to a lot of students and parents, the financial and psychological burden of what the trauma of having to go through this of no fault of theirs. And by passing this, I think this is a very, very important bill. I want to thank all those that work very hard to push this through. It will reduce the bottleneck, reduce corruption, and really it's a great relief to all our people. I thank you, my distinguished colleagues. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. The next order of the day is still presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Interior on the Nigerian Peace Corps Bill 2016. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, you recall that the report of the committee was laid on Thursday, 21st July 2016. Mr. President, you may now wish to invite distinguished Senator Abdullahi Adamu, the acting chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Abdul Chairman.
Senator Abdullahi Adamu.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I rise, I'm Abdullahi Adamu, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, representing the Southwest Senatorial District. I rise to move for the presentation of the report of the Committee on the Interior on the bill to establish the Nigerian Peace Corps, SB 173, and National Unity and Peace Corps 183, Bill 2016. I so move.
Senator Andiba.
Mr. President, most distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Andiba, representing Anambra South Senatorial Zone. Mr. President, I rise to second that the Senate do consider the report of the Committee on Interior on the Nigerian Peace Corps, Bill 2016. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate do consider the report of the Committee on Interior on the Nigerian Peace Corps Establishment, etc., Bill 2016, SB 173 and SB 183. Those in favor that we consider the report say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. President. I hereby submit the report of the Senate Committee on the Interior. I don't dispute the report. Some of you came very late. You are the Committee on Reconciliation of PDP, not so? I don't distribute report, do I? I have the report. The report is here. I don't distribute report. Mr. President, they are distributing it already. And it's not the first time report that is distributed and you read. When did you become president of the Senate? When did you become Senate president?
When did you become?
Senate president.
When did you become chairman of Interior?
I'm his deputy.
Order.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead, Senator Bladam.
Please listen. Report of the Senate Committee on Interior on Nigeria Peace Corps, SB 173, and National Unity and Peace Corps, SB 183, Bill 2016. Preamble. The Senate at its sitting on Thursday, the 10th March 2016, debated on the general principles of the Nigeria Peace Corps Bill 2016, SB 173, sponsored by Senator Mohammed Ali Ndume, and the National Unity. Thank you very much. And the National Unity and Peace Corps Bill 2016, SB 183, sponsored by distinguished Senator Binta Garba Masi, and referred to the committee for further legislative action. Objectives of the bills. The objectives of these two bills are similar in nature, which includes, but not limited to, peace education, mediation and conflict resolution scheme, capacity building for youth creativity and innovation, patriotism and nation building, agricultural and economic empowerment, combating societal decadence in educational institutions, health and social services, conflict resolution and management among warring groups or communities where there are crises in Nigeria, monitoring out-of-school children, eradication of antisocial behaviors, methodology. The committee held series of meetings for the purpose of fashioning out modalities in carrying out these important assignments. Publication in prints, electronic and social media were made with a view to sensitizing members of the public and requesting for memoranda. Invitations were also sent to stakeholders. A meeting with the National Commandant of Nigeria Peace Corps and Commandant General of the National Unity and Peace Corps was convened. The committee conducted a one-day public hearing on Wednesday, the 20th of April, 2016. Public hearing. On Wednesday, the 20th of April, 2016, the committee conducted the public hearing. The hearing elicited the views of the stakeholders and the general public on the merits and otherwise of these bills. Presentation received at the hearing. The committee received numerous written memoranda and oral submissions from government agencies, NGOs, individuals, and various interest groups. Majority of the memoranda and presentation at the hearing supported the establishment of the Nigeria Peace Corps, except for some government agencies, Ministry of Interior, NSDC, the Police Department, Department of State Services, whose presentations contradict the passage of the bill. Observations and findings. The committee observed that the two organizations will be of great benefit to the Nigerian youth. Majority of the stakeholders supported the passage of the bill. The same government agencies who are opposed to these bills now took the same position when the National Assembly passed the NSDCD bill into law a few years ago. Recommendations. The committee's recommendations are as follows. 1, that the two bills should be merged into one bill. 2, the title of the new bill to read Nigeria Peace Corps Bill 2016 for ease of harmonization with the House of Representatives who have passed a similar bill before us. That the head of the Corps to be referred to as Commandant General with 6 Deputy Commandant Generals and 6 Assistant Commandant Generals drawn from the 6 geopolitical zones which should reflect the federal character principle. That the court should be domiciled under the Federal Ministry of Interior, and that the clauses of the bill as presented are in the attached template. Conclusion. The committee wishes to thank the Senate President, principal officers, and our distinguished colleagues for the opportunity given to us to serve in this capacity. This is Mr. President.
Senator James Manager.
Thank you, Mr. President. My respected colleagues, James Manager, Delta South. Mr. President, I just have very few issues to read about these reports. But I'm not in any way against this bill at all. Number one, Mr. President, much obliged, sir. At least this is one report that the presenter read without the report being given to all of us. What we have here is just the bill. It is number one observation. Number two, sir, if you look at this bill, it has about 42 sections. And curiously, Mr. President, it is very clear that the committee, in spite of the fact that they had to work on 2 bills, bringing the 2 bills together, the committee also made a public hearing on this bill. In spite of all this, the committee didn't make any comments. There's nothing like, oh, this one is okay, this one is not okay. There's absolutely not. If you look at the whole bill, from the beginning to the end, there is nothing like committee making an observation or correcting this, correcting that. Absolutely nothing is there. That is number 2. Number 3, sir, if you look at the signature page, almost 4 senators didn't append their signatures. So I don't know what is happening. I just want to be guided by the chairman of the committee. Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity.
General Adam, I think there are 2 senators that are here that can tell us why they didn't. Senator Sani is here, and Senator Mao Wabua is here. Senator Achenyo is no longer with us as a senator, so there are 3. So is it that they were not around? No, sir, Arun is not here. It's not on the list of those. So maybe we'll ask the 2 of them why they maybe.
To the best of my knowledge, the absence of those signatures in no way suggests, objection of the report. And I do know that one of the persons who has not signed is present. And he wasn't in when we were distributing. And since we came back, we wanted to put this together so that we can submit. And he has no objection to it. He's here. And I believe that the other 2 have no objection whatsoever. If we are aware of any objection, it will be responsible of us to present if there's an overwhelming rejection of the report by the majority of the members.
What about the fact that everything is retained, no comments? Is it because it was a good job that was done?
And again, on that issue, this is an originating bill. There was no bill before this that will go on the column under reference, and therefore I say this is our observation. This is the original one. That there was no bill before it. We are not amending an existing bill. No, are we doing with an existing bill? So everything I suggested was accepted.
Thank you, Acting Chairman. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, as the chairman said, we resolve into committee of the whole to consider the report. I therefore move that we resolve into committee of the whole to consider the report. I so move.
Mr. President.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we move into the committee of the whole to consider this report. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, there are 40 clauses here. So, yeah.
Although I raised up my hand when the bill was being considered at plenary, and I wanted to voice out my total objection to this bill, because as at the moment, Nigeria is undergoing very serious financial difficulties, and we want to create another body for which salaries will be allocated when we are all shouting that we want to regenerate the economy of the country, and we also want to increase the capital budget of the country. I believe that this bill should not be taken.
Distinguished colleague, we are now at clause by clause consideration. So, those in favor of clause 1 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 2, some observations. Yes. Senator Ujimi.
Thank you, Mr. President. The observations are very many. If you look at page 2 and item 2, yes, it says provision of refuse bins, waste baskets, and handy waste bags in public buildings, buses, and schools in order to obliterate littered materials. That should not be the job of a corps. It should not be the function of a Peace Corps.
The job of sanitary inspectors.
It should be the job of sanitary inspectors. And if you go beyond that to page 3, sir, it says, page 3, page 3.4, it says, serve as orderlies to members of executive, parliament, judiciary, traditional rulers that are not covered by existing security agencies. Are they going to be trained? Are they going to be security agents? Are the police not going to withdraw the services of their men so as to allow people to use this? We need to take cognizance of these clauses. And it goes beyond that. It also says creation and management of public toilets on highways, including enlightenment against defecation in open places. I think these things are too mundane for us to come as part of the functions of a corps. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. With due apology, I think I want to completely align myself with the last speaker, but with specific areas where she has touched some of them. But initially, sir, sorry to take you back, there was a generalized item under the item 1B, where all educational institutions are generalized. Is the kind of generalization that brings unbounded fear, Mr. Chairman. When a body like this is to be established, Senator Alashadura indicated part of the element of cost, and you can now visibly, clearly see under that item 1B, where it is indicated the headquarters of Peace Corps shall be located in the Federal Capital Territory and shall have offices in all the states, all the local governments, areas, and educational institutions. Even the indication of educational institutions, Mr. Chairman, has not been defined. Educational institutions from primary schools, from secondary schools, tertiary institutions. Sir, I think we are making an item of the law that we must, sir, consider. When we go in, I have not been able to go to the end, Mr. Chairman, but of course all this will translate into costs. That is number one, Mr. Chairman. Number two, under item 2, you have called for suggestions. Item 2B, it says to empower and preoccupy the Nigerian youth. In my own opinion, the word there should not be preoccupy, is to gainfully occupy. The intention is not just to preoccupy them, but to give gainful occupation that will guide the youth. That is number 2, Mr. Chairman. Number 3, still under item 2. The last speaker has indicated under item 2, E2, provision of refuse bins. In my own opinion, if that will be indicated, it should go along with the term or word assist in the provision. But if you indicate the provision of refuse bins in all those areas there that has been indicated, it becomes mandatory for them to do that, and it gives them unhindered access to all those locations that have been indicated there. Number 4, Mr. Chairman. Number 4, G, provide security for all educational institutions and check all forms of examination malpractices, Mr. Chairman. In my own opinion, sir, checking education malpractices should not be ceded from part of the administrative necessary duties of administrations in institutions and schools and be ceded to them. If we do this, there will be conflict of ideas between who takes charge of that particular function. And there are so many of them, sir, under those functions that have been indicated. In my own opinion, we should be very, very discreet and direct in picking those points and make sure we get them right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
I think
Mr. President, after due consultation and the fact that the chairman of the committee is not around, we will step down the consideration of this bill and ask the committee to take a look and really harmonize and reconcile and get back to the Senate. I so move that we stand down the consideration to another time.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion ably moved by the Senate leader that we suspend consideration of this bill for further consultation. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that we suspend the consideration of this bill clause by clause, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, I move that we revert to plenary to report progress. Order.
Shut up. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that we revert to plenary to report progress. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that we revert back to plenary to report progress, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Senate Committee on Interior on the bills to establish Nigeria Peace Corps SB 173 and National Unity and Peace Corps SB 183 Bill 2016 and resolved that they go back and for more legislative work. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader of the Senate.
Senator Marafa, order. Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. The next order of the day is presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Sports on the National Lottery Act 2005, Amendment Bill 2016. Distinguished colleagues, you recall that the report of the committee was made
Senator Mao, please go back to your seat.
On Tuesday, 4th October 2016. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Obinna Ogba, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Senator Obinna Ogba.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Senator Obinna Ogba, Ebonyi Central. This is a report of the Senate Committee of Sports. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate do consider the report of the Committee of Sports on the National Lottery Act 2005, Amendment Bill 2016, SB 227. I so move.
Senator Abdullah Yaya. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate do consider the report of the Committee on Sports on National Lottery Act 2005 Amendment Bill 2016 SB 227 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Obinna Ogba.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. This is a report of the Senate Committee on Sports and Youth Development on a bill from Act to amend the National Lottery Act 2005 to make provision for effective operation of lottery in Nigeria and for other related matters. SB 227/2016. Background. The Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria at its plenary sitting on Wednesday, 1st June 2016, read the second time a bill for an act to amend the National Lottery Act 2005 to make provisions for effective operation of lottery in Nigeria and for other related matters, SB 227/2016, and referred same to the Committee for Further Legislative Action. The National Lottery Regulation Commission is the body that regulates lottery activities in Nigeria. The Commission was established through the National Lottery Act of 2005. This bill seeks to amend the National Lottery Act 2005 to make special provisions for the effective operation of lottery in Nigeria. Objective of the bill: the operation of the national lottery in Nigeria has not been encouraging, as it has only remitted about 5 billion naira to the National Lottery Trust Fund in the past 10 years of its operation. This amendment seeks to ensure a fair lottery for the nation, protect integrity of the lottery, protect players, and maximize funds for good causes. The proposed clauses for amendment include 10, 13, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 24, 32, 34, 40, 45, and 57. Distinguished colleagues, however, the main objective of the bill is to reposition the National Lottery Commission to realize its full potential as a veritable source of revenue generation that can impact the GDP significantly. The amendment sought by this bill is laudable enough to put our lottery regime in line with the best international practice. The committee opined that through this piece of legislation, the above stated desired objective of the bill will be achieved. Methodology: the committee took into consideration the sensitive and vital nature of the subject as covered by the bill and decided to carry out some legislative activities as follows. 1. Held committee interactive meetings with various stakeholders, request for submission of vital information from key stakeholders, interactive session with relevant bodies and individuals, cooperative study of our various national laws and that of other jurisdictions. And the committee members also carried out in-depth clause-by-clause consideration of the proposed amendment and came up with its recommendation. Legislative summary: the committee have scrutinized the amendments, clauses, and sub-clauses, resolved that all that was amended should be retained. The clauses so retained are clauses 10 at 2004 number 2, 13 annual estimates and accounts, 17 operation of the business of national lottery, 18 application for license, 19 grant of license, 20 duration of a license, 21 revocation of license, 24 application of proceeds of national lottery, 34 general offences and penalties, 35 establishment of national lottery trust fund, 45 annual estimate and accounts, 57 interpretation, and 58 short title and explanatory memorandum. Recommendation: the committee has satisfactorily concluded work on this bill and hereby recommends that the Senate do give a favorable consideration to this all-important bill and expeditiously passage of same. Conclusion: Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, on behalf of all the members of the committee, I wish to sincerely thank you for the opportunity given to us to serve in this regard. I respectfully recommend the passage of this very important bill. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I so move.
All right. I think this is a simple matter. So, Leader of Senate, Resolve Committee of the Whole to consider.
Mr. President, I move that we resolve the Committee of the Whole to consider the report.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we move into Committee of the Whole to consider this report as so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, there are 20 clauses here. So we'll take it one by one. Those in favor that clause 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 2, 3, and 4 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 5, 6, and 7 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 8. Those in favor that clause 8 and 9 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. Clause 8 or clause 9? Okay, those in favor that clause 8 stands part of the bill say aye. On clause 8? Clause 8 or clause 9? Huh? 8. Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, under 8 section C is on that the President may grant national lottery license to any person or body corporate to operate the lottery being applied for by whatever name called if the President is satisfied that the applicant, now under C, is capable of mobilizing sufficient financial resources to ensure financial viability of the business of operating a national lottery. I think we should put a capital there. We should make a capital base for operating a national lottery operating company.
Yeah, exactly. Not anybody.
Not anybody.
You have to have a capital base. Suggest something.
Well, if I may suggest, Nigeria is very wide. Nigeria, we have about 170 million people. And I would suggest, minimum capital suggestion based on the population of this country. I would suggest minimum of 1 billion naira.
Yes, Senator Dino.
Mr. President, my colleagues, Dino Melaye, Kogi West. I just want to inform my colleague that I am the mover of this motion. And the bill, the sponsor of the bill. And I want to say that lottery in this country is categorized into different, you have lotto, you have lottery, and they all have different financial implications. So you cannot have a stipulated amount as a base for participants because there's even sports lottery. So because you have different categories of lottery, some are not very expensive to run, while some are very, very expensive. And you may even decide to run lottery within a geographical area. You may not want to play a national lottery. So putting a stipulated amount of money will jeopardize the setup of it.
Any other observation on clause 8? Clause 8? Yes, Senator Nkwe.
Yeah, quite frankly, the explanation added by Senator Dino would have sufficed, but you will agree with me, it opens another vista. The intention here is to regulate with an instrument, Mr. Chairman, a situation where at one point in time a specific fee is charged to a member who is willing to participate, and then at another time, because of lack of regulated instrument of amount, another value is charged, it becomes meddlesome. This is part of the reason why probably if this bill should have provided those categories as has been indicated by Senator Dino. We lose nothing by providing those details and categories of lotteries that are intended to be regulated by the instrument for which we are regulating. Thank you very much on that. Thank you, Chairman.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I just want to also allay the fear of my older brother and colleague that each lottery, there's a sharing formula. And there's percentage going to the federal government, there's a percentage that is going back into the lottery, and there's percentage for the beneficiaries of the lottery. So, and this percentage is static, irrespective of the players in the industry. So no matter what your investment is, there's already, the bill has taken care of a financial formula where stipulated percentages are given to each player, not minding at what level or your financial investment in the industry. So it's that settles it.
Mr. Chairman, still with all the respect that is due to my friend, the sponsor of this bill, I think it's still important, sir, to be able, we are not talking about the resources that are going to go to which beneficiary, to the owners, to the federal government, or to those who are the winners. We are talking about entry qualifications.
We are talking close by close. Let's make recommendation. I can put the question so that we don't just talk generally. I think the best thing is for if you then make a suggestion so I can put the question. We have gone past, so if there's a suggestion what we believe the minimum capital is, we can make an amendment to 2C and suggest 1C and suggest what we believe.
4 categories. The first category we could make 200 million. The second category would go for 400 million. And the highest would go for about 1 billion.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, distinguished Senator Mao Huavunwa, representing Abia North. I think we have to understand exactly what we are doing before we talk about prioritizing or prioritizing the amount. What is said there is capable of mobilizing sufficient financial resources to ensure financial viability of the business of operating a national lottery. And if we have put this, and you said, what will be the parameter? What will be the index to know who is capable of mobilizing sufficient financial resources? So you cannot, there must be a peg. Because what will show that I'm capable of, is it the jacket I'm wearing or the briefcase I'm going to carry? So there must be something specific to show that you are capable. Either we put it like he's been suggested, we say, according to Dino, we could say the first level, which might be the highest, I don't know about lottery, 1 billion. The next level, you are capable of mobilizing 500 million. The next level, you are capable of mobilizing 250 million. The next level, you are capable of mobilizing 150 million. It's just for it because you have stated it here already that you must be capable to mobilize sufficient resources. And is there what is there to show that you can mobilize? That is just my worry.
Can we put it into a, because you are making an amendment now. So how do you want it to read then?
What I'm saying, Mr. President, is that, you see, because if it was one item, but the sponsor of the motion has made us understand that there are categories, either sports or local or whatever. So let's know what it will involve. You know, you guys are more practical in this business. I'm nothing. You guys are more practical.
Can you guide us along those lines? If there are 3 categories, what should be the minimum capital?
Please, Mr. President, my colleagues, let me say that we are going to, the reason for this bill is because Nigeria has been shortchanged in terms of revenue. And if you now peg a particular amount of money, lottery all over the world is very dynamic, it's fluid. And in the next 2 years, there may be a need to review. The issue of pricing is at the level of licensing, which I don't think should form part of the bill. It's a policy issue at the level of licensing. And the Lottery Commission, they have the capacity and procedures of asking for not only money, there are a lot of other conditions precedent to issuance of a license. And these are regulatory issues that must not be clearly stipulated in a bill. But there are issues of policy, and these conditions must be met with the commission before license is issued. So I will rather suggest, sir, that, like I said, if a man decides to say, I don't want to run a national, I want to run a lotto, but I don't want to run it nationally, I just want to run it within a geopolitical zone or within a state, how do you now ask him to pay the same amount of money with somebody who wants to run it nationally? So I want to say that the issue at the level of issuance of license, and then the policy issues can regulate the money periodically as occasion demands. But if you now clearly fix an amount of money here, you are also running the federal government among, because there will be the need for further generation, and we will have to come back here for amendments time to time to change the amount of money.
Just a second, the same colleagues, wouldn't it be better then that we put something to say that they're capable of meeting the financial conditions set by the commission? Would that address it? So we are meant C that there. Yeah, okay, let me just get this thought and then I'll come back to your question. So before, what we're saying as she said, that is capable of mobilizing sufficient funds to ensure financial viability of the business of operating the national lottery and meet the financial conditions as set by the commission. I'll take you, just a second, I'll make the financial conditions as may be set by the commission. Yes, Senator Manja, your question.
Mr. Chairman, sir, my respected colleagues, mine is a clarification. Good enough, the sponsor of the bill is here and the chairman of the committee is also here. From the explanations we've gotten, sir, it seems to me that there are so many forms of lottery business, but you call it, particularly that C, capable of mobilizing sufficient financial resources to ensure financial viability of the business of operating a national lottery. Why do we have national there? Why do you call it national? Instead of calling it lottery, why do you have it national? And not only that, if you must correct that, you must go to the Act itself and act to amend the National Lottery Act. National is appearing, but from your explanation, this deal is...
The license is issued. It's a national license. And you can graduate from playing it at a local level to national.
Let me put the question on 8C. Yeah, those in favor that clause 8C be amended to read that is capable of mobilizing sufficient financial resources to ensure financial viability of the business of operating national lottery and meet the financial conditions as may be set by the commission. Those in favor that clause 8C as amended stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. Yes, clause 8D. 8D.
It reads, Mr. Chairman, has made an undertaking to conduct the business of National Lottery. I think we should amend it to read, has made an undertaking and issue requisite guarantee. Yeah. It's not just an undertaking. They should be able to issue requisite guarantee. We are avoiding to put some specific amounts. In my own opinion, we should put requisite guarantee. Otherwise, an undertaking will amount to no translated value and is not redeemable. That is one, Mr. Chairman. Number two, still under 8B, I think there is a little contradictory clause that we need to correct. Under B, has the relevant knowledge, expertise, and experience to manage the business. And then they said, or any part of the business of operating the lottery being applied for. I think that is contradictory. We should remove the end part of that clause. Let it just read, has the relevant knowledge, expertise, and experience to manage the business. I left D to B, 8B. Is contradicting itself. B is reading, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I read. B has the relevant knowledge, expertise, and experience to manage the business. And then they said, or any part of the business of operating the lottery being applied for. In my own opinion, not any part. Simply put, it has the relevant knowledge and expertise and experience to manage the business.
Okay, let me just put the question so that let me put the question so that we can make progress. 8B, those in favor that 8B stands part of the clause as say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 8D, those in favor that 8D stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 9. Yeah.
maybe we are novices in the aspect of lottery, but I think, Mr. Chairman, clause 9 is saying, subject to subsection 2 of this section, a license granted under section 19 of the Act shall be valid for a period of 15 years. Maybe I continue to read, and I think I seem to be confused where it says the duration of the license shall be stated on its face, and such license shall be perpetually renewable. If it is perpetually renewable, why then limit to 15 years? I'm reading on item 9. It said perpetually renewable. I think it contradicts part of the reason why an allotment of 15 years has been given, but may be renewable after that. But when we say perpetually renewable, thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is my observation.
Yes. Who's chairman of the call? Who's going to give us guidance here? The sponsor, yeah. Okay, then send him live.
I think it's...
Can I read this and see whether we agree? Subject to subsection 2 of this section, a license granted under section 19 of the Act shall be valid for a period of 15 years. The duration of the license shall be stated on its face, and such license shall be renewable upon application by the licensee. Does that Those in favor of clause 9 as amended to be part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 10. Those in favor of clause 10 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 11. Those in favor of that clause 11 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 12 and clause 12. Where's clause 13? In favor that clause 12 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 14. Chairman.
Sorry, Mr. Distinguished colleagues. I'm sorry, 13 is stuff from the fixed odd price established by the license. That is 13. Sorry. Is that page 8? Go to page 8. Before the 14.
Okay.
Before the 14.
That number.
It's a mistake.
The 2 and the 13.
The 2 is 1 and 2, sir.
Two stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 14. Clause 14. Those in favor that clause 14 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 15 and 16. Yeah. Those in favor of clause 15 and 16 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Bina, where's clause 17? So clause, are you saying clause 18 should be 17? So there are only 19 clauses then? All right, those in favor of that clause 17 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 18, which is now 19, or which is really 19. Yeah, which clause? No, we're not 18 yet, we're 17. We just passed 17, we're now going to 18. Okay. 18, go ahead. You have something on 18? Yeah. Clause 18. Yeah. Those in favor of clause 18 stands part. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman, I just want to pick for the relevant explanation on this. It has appeared 2-3 times, and I think I want to pick it 18(3)(a). Am I right, sir? is numbered 18, part 6 on my paper. Okay, it's now 17. Okay. Sorry, sir. My observation is that it indicated there is the income tax fixed at 10%. We have seen that happen through the bill itself appearing here again. My take on this is just to confirm that we are not, as here, being adopting a percentage that may otherwise be lower than what is in best practice. Because I don't know, sir. It's just an observation.
Distinguished colleague, let's just put the question. Those in favor that clause 17 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. Those in favor that clause 18 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 19. There's no 19. Clause short 19. Those in favor of the short title, which is clause 19, stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The long title on page 1. Those in favor of the long title stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we revert to plenary to report progress.
Use my own.
It's your own. It is on. Mr. President, I move to second as moved by the Senate lady. I so second.
I revert back to plenary report progress. Say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Sports and Youth Development on the National Lottery Act 2005 Amendment Bill 2016 and approved as follows. Clauses 1 to 7 as recommended, 8 to 9 as amended, 10 to 18 as recommended, short title as recommended, long title as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that the National Lottery Act of 2005 Amendment Bill 2016 be now read the third time.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the National Lottery Act 2005 Amendment Bill 2016 be now read the third time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the National Lottery Act 2005 to make provisions for effective operation of lottery in Nigeria and for other related matters 2016, third reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Lottery Act 2005 to make provisions for effective operations of lottery in Nigeria and for other related matters, third reading. This bill is now read for the third time and passed. I want to thank the sponsor and members of the Committee on Sports for this amendment to the Lottery Act. I believe that one of our main concerns is to see that there are adequate funding of particular certain areas of sports particularly. And I think that in the past, most of these lottery organizations have been paying very little amount to government revenue. By this law, this bill that we just passed, it will increase the revenue going to government. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues. The seventh order of the day is the second reading of a House bill on the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Act Cap C-15, the Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, Amendment Bill 2016.
Who? So we'll refer it to your committee.
Take a reading, then we'll have to.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, as I said, you recall that this House bill, which was read the first time in this chamber on Wednesday, 5th October 2016. Mr. President, with your permission, I move that the bill be now read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that I second that we now read the bill for the second time. I so second.
Leader of the Senate.
Distinguished colleagues, as I said, this bill is a House bill for concurrence, and the purpose of this second reading is to follow the formality so that we refer the bill to the relevant committee for concurrence. And I don't think it's just an amendment of certain sections of it. So I don't think there is anything except if a member wants to contribute otherwise.
So, distinguished colleagues, if there's no, I'll put the question. Those in favor that this bill be read the second time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Act, Cap C-15, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and for other matters connected therewith, 2016, second reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Act, Cap C-15, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and for other matters connected therewith, 2016, second reading taken. Leader of the Senate. This committee will be referred to the Ethics and Privileges and brought back to us in 2 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Distinguished colleagues, the next order of the day is also a second reading of a House bill on the Builders Registration, etc. Act Cap B-13, the Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004 Amendment Bill 2016. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, you will also recall that this is a House bill which was read the first time in this chamber on Thursday, 22nd September 2016. Just as we did with the Code of Conduct, Mr. President, with your permission, I move that the bill be now read a second time and referred to the appropriate committee for consideration.
I do second the motion by the leader that the bill be read for the second time. I do second.
Lead debate.
Okay. As I said, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the bill was read for the first time on the floor of the Senate on 22nd September. This bill seeks just to amend the Builders Registration, etc. Act Cap B 13, the laws of the Federation of Nigeria, to align with the present realities. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, this is a non-controversial bill. It just involves a minor amendment to the Principal Act, which has been subject to rigorous scrutiny in the House of Representatives. Therefore, there is no need for us to belabor ourselves with too much debate on it. I urge we just support this bill and refer it to the appropriate committee.
If there's no comments, I'll put the question. Those in favor that this bill read for the second time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Back of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Builders Registration, etc. Act, Cap B 13, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, by increasing the prescribed penalties and for other related matters, 2016, second reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Builders Registration, etc. Act, Cap B 13, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, by increasing the prescribed penalties and for other related matters, 2016, second reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, in view of the fact that the chairman of the committee has just said that he has taken a look at the bill and he has no objection to that, I move that this bill be read now the third time.
You mean committee of the whole? You are moving a motion that the bill be referred to the committee of the whole so that we can take.
Committee of the whole suspend the relevant rules to take it for the third time. And therefore move that we resolve into committee of the whole to take this just single and minor amendment. The Builders Act. Thank you.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we revert it to the committee of the whole to consider this bill as your second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that resolve to committee of the whole to consider the bill clause by clause, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Leader, maybe what we can do, just like last time, while we are in the committee of the whole, can you let us know the ones that the committees do not want to do any more additional legislative work, so that we can take those ones in one go? Okay, so we'll do that before the next one.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, before you move, I just want to explain to our colleagues so that they get it clear. These are House bills coming from the House for concurrence, and these are minor amendments that does not require, even if it goes to committee. So we want to fast track the process as we did last time. Therefore, unless a chairman has an observation or wants to work on the committee, these concurrence bills will now be. The chairman are here with us. As I mentioned them, if the chairman feels that we take it, then we do. So we now have the list, please. Can you have the bills, please? So, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the Builders Registration Act Cap B, laws of the Federation. One, which is the World Meteorological Organization Protection Act, Cap W.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to finish this on the Builder Registration Act. Then when we go back to plenary, you will now give us all the combined ones that we're going to take. So while we're doing this, with the combined one will be ready, so we have a combined list. Okay. Distinguished colleagues, there are only two clauses here, so Page 1. Those in favor that clause 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 2 on page 2. Clause 2 that you're changing 1,000 to 1,500,000 to 500,000. Those in favor that clause 2 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the short title on page 3 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum on page 3 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And those in favor that long title on page 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we revert to plenary to report progress.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, I stand to second the motion that we revert to plenary to report progress. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report on builders, registration, etc. Bill 2016 and approved as follows. Clause 1 to 2 as recommended, short title as recommended, long title as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I move that the bill be now read the third time. I so move.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that this bill be now read the third time. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the bill be read the third time say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Builders Registration Act, Registration etc. Act, Cap B13, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, by increasing the prescribed penalties and for other matters related matters 2016, third reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Builders Registration etc. Act, Cap B13, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, by increasing the prescribed penalties and for other related matters 2016, third reading. This bill is read the third time and passed. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next order of the day. We did a lot of changes, so is the second reading of a House bill on the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Act, Cap E1, the Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 Amendment Bill 2016. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, you recall that this House bill, which was read the first time in this chamber on Tuesday, 27 September 2016. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, with your permission, I move that the bill be now read a second time.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that this bill be now read a second time. I so second.
Leader of Senate. Debate. Does everybody have the lead debates of all the items on the House bills? We can come back to that. Can you suspend that? We go to until they distribute the lead debate. Leader, can you move that? We just suspend that for a few minutes until they distribute the lead debate.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we suspend the second reading of the Economic and Financial Crime Commission Act Cap, where E1, the laws of federation, until we get the details. I so move.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we suspend the consideration of the EFCC bill until it is circulated. I so second.
Those in favor, those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next order of the day is the second reading of a House bill on the World Meteorological Organization Protection Act Cap W7, the Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004 Amendment Bill 2016. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues.
Leader, do you want to take that along with the ones that, since that is the World Meteorological, also the town planners, the petroleum, so that we just move into the committee of the ones instead of going back and yeah, go ahead.
Distinguished colleagues, just want you to check whether we have the meteorological world, the amendment, meteorological organization, then currency conversion. You have currency conversion, freezing order, bill, cap C43. You have that. Currency conversion. Then you have National Archives Act. You have that. Then the Value Added Tax Act Cap V1. Okay. Then Petroleum Product Pricing Regulatory Agency Act. And then Veterinary Surgeons Act. And town plan. No, I didn't have town planning.
Town planning, dishonor checks.
Dishonor check, amendment of the dishonor check. But I don't have national planning. Can I borrow you?
Which one?
National planning. They are also from the village.
8 of them. There should be the meteorological, town planners, petroleum products pricing regulatory, veterinary surgeons, national archives, currency conversion, value added tax, and dishonor checks. Huh?
Distinguished colleagues, I will take the 8 bills collectively. 1, the World Meteorological Organization Protection Act Cap W7, the Laws of Federation of Nigeria 24 Bill 2016, second reading of it. Then second, a bill for an act to amend the town planners registration, etc. Act Cap T7, the Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004 Bill 2016. 3, a bill for an act to amend the Petroleum Product Pricing Regulatory Agency Act Cap P43, the Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004 Bill 2016. 4, and a bill for an act to amend the Veterinary Surgeons Act Cap V3, the Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004 Bill 2016. 5, the bill for an act to amend the National Archives Act 2004 Bill 2016. 6, or is it 5? 6, bill for an act to amend the Currency Conversion Freezing Orders Act Cap C43, the Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004. 7, amend the Value Added Tax Cap V1, the Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004 Bill 2016. Then finally, a bill for an act to amend the Dishonored Checks Offences Act Cap D11, Laws of Federation of Nigeria Bill 2016. I so move.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we move into Committee of the Whole to consider the bills as I mentioned. Second reading. Okay, sorry. I rise to second the motion that these bills be now read a second time. I so second. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the bill for an act to amend the World Meteorological Organization Protection Act, Cap W7 LFN 2004 Bill 2016, a bill for an act to amend the Town Planning Registration Etc. Act, Cap T7 LFN 2004 Bill 2016, a bill for an act to amend the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency Act, Cap P43 LFN 2004 2016, bill for an act to amend the Veterinary Surgeons Act, Cap V3 LFN 2004 Bill 2016, bill for an act to amend the National Archives Act 2004 Bill 2016, bill for an act to amend the Currency Conversion Freezing Orders Act, Cap C43 LFN 2004 Bill, and bill for an act to amend the Value Added Tax Act, Cap V1 LFN 2004 Bill 2016, and bill to amend the Dishonored Checks Offences Act, Cap D11 LFN 2004 Bill 2016 be read the second time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, and I hope that you have all the bills and the amendment. The bill for the World Meteorological Organization Protection Act bill was read the first time on the floor of the chamber on the 29th September. This bill just seeks to amend the World Meteorological Organization Protection Act to align with present reality. The second bill, which was read the first time, and that is the bill to amend the Town Planners Registration Act, Cap T7, was also read on the 22nd September 2016. Also, this bill just seeks to align seeks to amend the Town Planners Registration Act to align with the present reality. The third one, which is the bill for an act to amend the Petroleum Product Pricing Regulatory Agency Act, Cap P43, is also a bill that was read the first time on the floor on the 21st of September 2016. This bill also seeks to amend the Petroleum Product Pricing Regulatory Agency Act to align with the present realities. The next bill, which is the bill that seeks to amend the Veterinary Surgeons Act, Cap V3, was read on the floor of the Senate on the 4th October 2016. The purpose of the bill or the amendment is to align it to the present realities. The next bill, which is a bill for an act to amend the National Archives Act was read the first time on the floor of the Senate on the 5th October 2016. The bill also seeks to amend the National Archive Act 2004 to align with the present realities. And the next bill, which is an act to amend the Currency Conversion Freezing Orders Act Cap 43, was also read the first time on the floor of the Senate on 22nd September. The bill is the same, seeks to do the same, that is aligned with the present realities. And then the bill for an act to amend the Value Added Tax Act Cap V1 was also read on the 4th of October 2016. It is also an amendment to align with the present realities. And lastly, the bill to amend the Dishonor Checks for Offences Act Cap D11 was also read on the floor of the Senate on the 29th September. The bill also seeks to amend the Dishonor Checks Offences Cap to align with present realities. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, these bills are non-controversial ones. It involves a minor amendment, as I said, to the Principal Act, which has been subjected to vigorous scrutiny in the House of Representatives. Therefore, there is no need for us to belabor ourselves with too much debate on it. I therefore urge you to allow the bill be read the second time. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that these bills be now read the second time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the World Meteorological Organization Protection Act, CAW7, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for other related matters 2016, second reading.
A bill for an act to amend the World Meteorological Organization Protection Act, CAW7, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for other related matters 2016, second reading. Clerk of the Senate.
A bill for an act to amend the Town Planners Registration, etc. Act, Cap T7, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to regulate the tenure of council members upon reappointment, review panel, fines, and for other related matters 2016, second reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Town Planners Registration, etc. Act, Cap T7, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to regulate the tenure of council members upon reappointment, review panel, fines, and for other related matters 2016, second reading taken. Clerk of the Senate.
A bill for an act to amend the Petroleum Product Pricing Regulatory Agency Establishment Act, Cap P43, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, 2016, second reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency Establishment Act, Cap P43, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, 2016, second reading taken. Clerk of the Senate.
A bill for an act to amend the Veterinary Surgeons Act, Cap V3, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to reduce the membership of the Veterinary Council and for matters related thereto, 2016, second reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Veterinary Surgeons Act, Cap V3, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to reduce the membership of the Veterinary Council and for other matters related thereto, 2016, second reading taken. Leader of the Clerk of the Senate.
A bill for an act to amend the National Archives Act, Cap N6, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to review the penalties upward and for other related matters 2016, second reading.
A bill for an act to amend the National Archives Act, Cap N6, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to review the penalties upwards and for other related matters 2016, second reading taken. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Currency Conversion Freezing Order Act, Cap C 43, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to give discretionary powers to the judge of a high court to order forfeiture of assets of affected persons and for other related matters 2016, second reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Currency Conversion Freezing Orders Act, Cap C43, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to give discretionary powers to the judge of a high court to order forfeiture of assets of affected persons and for other related matters 2016, second reading. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Value Added Tax Act, Cap V1, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to review upwards the fines and penalties specified for the offenses under the Act and for other related matters 2016, second reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Value Added Tax Act, Cap V1, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to review upwards the fines and penalties specified for offences under the Act and for other related matters 2016, second reading. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Dishonor Check Offences Act, Cap D11, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to address the loopholes in the Act, to review the penalties, and for other related matters 2016, second reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Dishonor Checks Offences Act, Cap D11, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to address the loopholes in the Act, to review the penalties and for other related matters 2016, second reading. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that we resolve into Committee of the Whole to consider the report.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we move to Committee of the Whole to consider this report. I so second.
Sorry, sir, before you put the question, I would like to appeal, sir, that in the case of the bill for the issue of Dutch checks, that if it could be, that can specifically be referred to the committee to have a look at it. It has a lot of material problems, which I don't think we'll be able to deal with here, unless you want us to begin to, because if we do, we may end up conferencing. Because if you look at that, it talks about issuing of Dutch check as an offense and includes irregular signature. So if, for instance, the signature is irregular, you can pay 500 naira, you can go to jail. Then it also defines small companies and big companies in a very inconsistent manner. So there's a lot of problem with that particular bill, sir.
Distinguished colleagues, the bill for an act on Dishonor Checks Offences Act, Cap D11, LFN 2004 Amendment Bill 2016, which has passed second reading, are now referred to Committee on Banking to do work and come back in 2 weeks with a report. And now put the question, those in favor that would result to Committee of the Whole to consider the other 7 bills, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, there are 7 bills for us to take. The first one is the World Meteorological Organization Protection Act, Cap WCLFN. There are 2 clauses here. clauses are pretty straightforward. Those in favor that clause 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 2 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the short title stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And those in favor that the long title stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Gobri or Senator Gamadi, can you please come and act as leader? Thank you. So we can go back to report progress. If you can move a motion for a second. Is the Town Planners Registration Etc. Act Cap 17 LFN Amendment Bill 2016. Distinguished colleagues, there are three clauses here. There are three clauses here. Clause 1, those in favor that clause 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 2, those in favor that clause 2 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 3, those in favor that clause 3 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the short title stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And those in favor that the long title stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The next one is the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency Act. Distinguished colleagues, there are three clauses here. Clause 1, those in favor that clause 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 2 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And those in favor that clause 3 stands part of the bill say aye. Yes, go ahead, Senator.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Senator Maro Wabunwa. The amendment on section 222.2, that is section 3, the third amendment says, of the Principal Act is amended by substituting the word not exceeding with the word of. That is of 3 years imprisonment. But I think that 200,000 and 20,000 is outdated and in line with all the amendments we are making. So I'm suggesting and amending that 20,000 should be 2 million. And it's in line with the other subsequent amendment because 20,000 was the principal act where it says 5 years imprisonment. So I think that 20,000 is outdated and the fee now should be 2 million. That's what I'm suggesting, in line with the other amendments.
So the question is in section clause 3 should be amended. Any person who contravenes the provisions of subsection 1 of this section commits an offense and is liable on a conviction of a fine of no less than 2 million or imprisonment for a term of 2 years or to both such fine and imprisonment. Those in favor that clause 3 as amended should stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that is a short title should stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And those in favor that the long title on page 1 should stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The next one is the Veterinary Surgeons Act. There are just 3 clauses here. Clause 1. Those in favor that clause 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 2. Those in favor that clause 2 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 3. Clause 3. Those in favor that clause 3 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the short title on page 3, clause 4 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And those in favor that the long title on page 1 stands part of the bill say aye. And those against say nay. The ayes have it. The next one is the Bill on National Archives Act 2004. Also here there are just 3 clauses. Clause 1, those in favor that clause 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 2, those in favor that clause 2 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And clause 3, those in favor that clause 3 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of the short title on page 2 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum on page 2 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And those in favor that the long title on page 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The next one is the currency conversion. Freezing order. Again, there are 3 clauses here. Clause 1, those in favor that clause 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 2 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 3 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that short title stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And those in favor that the long title stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The next bill is the value added tax. So you call it there are 13 clauses here. Clause 1. Those in favor that clause 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 2. Those in favor that clause 2 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 3 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 4. Yes. Mike.
Produces, furnishes, or sends for the purpose of this act or otherwise. There is a typographical error.
Yes. I've received it. Take note of that. In favor that clause 4 stands part of the bill as corrected say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 5, 6, and 7 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 8, 9, and 10 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 11 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 12 and 13 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the short title stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And those in favor that the long title on page 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I now move that the chair report progress. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the chair now report progress as to second.
Those in favor that we refer to plenary report progress say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the World Meteorological Organization Protection Act, CAPW 7 LFN 2004 Amendment Bill 2016, and approved as follows. Clause 1 to 2 as recommended, short title as recommended, long title as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee considered the report of the Town Planners Registration Etc. Act, CAP 17 LFN Amendment Bill 2016, and approved as follows. Clauses 1 to 3 as recommended, short title as recommended, long title as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? The Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency Establishment Act, P43 LFN 2004, Amendment Bill 2016, and approved as follows. Clauses 1 to 2 as recommended, 3 as amended, short title as recommended, long title as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? The Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of Veterinary Surgeons Act, V3 LFN 2004, Amendment Bill 2016, and approved as follows. Clauses 1 to 3 as amended, short title as amended, long title as amended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Yes. The Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the National Archives 2004 Amendment Bill 2016 and approved as follows. Clauses 1 to 3 as recommended, short title as recommended, long title as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? The Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report on Currency Conversion Freezing Orders Act C 43 LFN 2004 Amendment Bill 2016 and approved as follows. Clauses 1 to 3 as recommended, short title as recommended, long title as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? The Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report on Value-Added Tax at CAP V1 LFN 2004 Amendment Bill 2016 and approved as follows. Clauses 1 to 3 as recommended, 4 as amended, 5 to 13 as recommended, short title as recommended, long title as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that the respective bills be read the third time.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the respective bills be now read the third time as to second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that these respective bills are now read the third time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the bill for an act to amend the World Meteorological Organization Protection Act, Cap W7, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for other related matters 2016, third reading.
A bill for an act to amend the World Meteorological Organization Protection Act, Cap W7, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for other related matters 2016, third reading. This bill is read a third time and passed. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Town Planners Registration, etc. Act, Cap T7, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to regulate the tenure of council members upon reappointment, review panel, fines, and for other related matters 2016, third reading. 32, page 32.
A bill for an act to amend the Town Planners Registration, etc. Act, Cap T7, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to regulate the tenure of council members upon reappointment, review panel, fines, and for other related matters 2016, third reading. This bill is read a third time and passed. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Petroleum Product Pricing Regulatory Agency Establishment Act, Cap P43, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, read the third time.
A bill for an act to amend the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency Establishment Act, Cap P43, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, 2016, third reading. This bill is read a third time and passed. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Veterinary Surgeons Act, Cap V3, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to reduce the membership of the Veterinary Council and for other matters related thereto, 2016, third reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Veterinary Surgeons Act, Cap V3, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to reduce the membership of the Veterinary Council and for other matters related thereto, 2016, third reading. This bill is read a third time and passed. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the National Archives Act, Cap N6, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to review the penalties upward and for related matters 2016, third reading.
A bill for an act to amend the National Archives Act, Cap N6, Law of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to review the penalty opposed and for other related matters 2016, third reading. This bill read third time and passed. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Currency Conversion Freezing Order Act, Cap C43, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to give discretionary powers to the judge of a high court to order forfeiture of assets of affected persons and for other related matters 2016, third reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Currency Conversion Freezing Order Act, Cap C43, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to give discretionary powers to the judge of a high court to order forfeiture of assets or of affected persons and for other related matters 2016, third reading. This bill is read a third time and passed. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Value Added Tax Act, Cap V1, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to review upwards the fines and penalties specified for offenses under the Act and for other related matters 2016, third reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Value Added Tax Act, Cap V1, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to review upwards the fines and penalties specified for offenses under the Act and for other related matters 2016, third reading. This bill is read a third time and passed. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the next order of the day is still the second reading of House bills, which I would endeavor that we take them collectively. But before then, I want to move that we extend the time beyond 2 o'clock to enable us just take these bills that will now be referred to the committee for various. So I beg you to please. No, I understand the mood, but please, this one is just to refer the bills to the...
Yeah, I think we can actually finish because I think these bills that are coming up, we should just refer them to the committees. So we can just take them as one, let's pass it for second reading and then refer them to the committees. I don't think... No, we have 15 minutes, we have time. There are only 4 bills, I think.
Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the next order of the day, as I said, is the second reading of a House bill on the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Act Cap E1, the Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004 Amendment Bill 2016, and a bill for an act to establish the rights and obligation under tenancy agreement regulations for the recovery of premises in the Federal Capital Territory. And 3, a bill for an act to establish the Federal Capital Territory Transportation Authority Bill 2016. And a bill for an act to establish the Federal Capital Territory Water Board Bill 2016. And a bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Oil and Gas Content Development Act 2010 Bill 2016, and a bill for an act to establish the FCT Hospital Management Bill, Board Bill 2016, and finally, a bill for an act. I think that was the final one because it's a repetition. I so move.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion as moved by the Senate leader. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, I'll just take them one by one. I'll put the question: are those in favor that the bill on the Economic Financial Crime Commission Act, EFLFN 2004 Amendment Bill, be read the second time? Say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The bill is referred to the Committee on Anti-Corruption. Okay, we'll read it then. Lead Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Economic and Financial Crime Commission Establishment, etc. Act, Cap E1, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for the restructuring of the composition of the Commission by including members of independent organizations in its membership, establishment of operation, review committee, witness protection unit, detection unit, and compensation of victims of financial crimes, and disqualification of convicted persons from holding or continuing to hold public office, and for other related matters 2016, second reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Establishment, etc. Act, Cap E1, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for the restructuring of the composition of the Commission by including members of independent organizations in its membership, establishment of Operations Review Committee, Witness Protection Unit, Detection Unit, and compensation of victims of financial crime, and disqualification of conviction persons from holding or continuing to hold public office, and for other related matters 2016 second reading. The bill is referred to Committee on Anti-Corruption, report back in 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate. No, sorry, I'll take the next one then. Yeah. Distinguished colleagues, I'll put the question. Those in favor that the rights and obligations under tenancy agreements regulation for the recovery of premises in the Federal Capital Territory Bill 2016, HB 307, be read the second time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to regulate the rights and obligations under tenancy agreements and relationship between the landlord and the tenant, including the procedure for recovery of premises in the Federal Capital Territory and for other matters connected therewith, 2016, second reading.
A bill for an act to regulate the rights and obligations under tenancy agreements and the relationship between the landlord and the tenant, including the procedure for recovery of premises in the Federal Capital Territory and for other matters connected therewith, 2016, second reading. The bill is referred to the Committee on Federal Capital Territory. Report back in 4 weeks. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of hospital management boards of the Federal Capital Territory and for matters connected therewith, 2016, second reading.
Distinguished colleagues, if I put the a bill for an act, I have to put that.
Put the question, Mr. President.
Leader.
The President, we have just shifted the position, but it's part of the list that the bill for an act to establish the FCT Hospital Management Board Bill 2016 be read the second time. The bill was read the first time on the floor on the 22nd. So, and it's a House bill, as I say. So you may wish to put the question.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, those in favor of the bill be read the second time say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Hospital Management Board of the Federal Capital Territory and for matters connected therewith, 2016, second reading.
A bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Hospital Management Board of the Federal Capital Territory and for matters connected therewith, 2016, second reading. This bill is referred again to Committee on the Federal Capital Territory. Report back in 4 weeks.
This one is the bill for an act to establish the Federal Capital Territory Transport Authority Bill 2016. You may wish to put the question. The bill was read for the first time on the 27th of September. And also, this is also a House bill and non-controversial.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the bill for the Federal Capital Territory Transport Authority Establishment Bill be read the second time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for the establishment of a transport authority for Federal Capital Territory and for other matters related thereto, 2016, second reading.
A bill for the establishment of a transport authority for the Federal Capital Territory and for other matters related thereto, 2016, second reading. Bill referred to the Committee on Federal Capital Territory. Report back in 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
The next bill for consideration is the bill for an act to establish the Federal Capital Territory Water Board, Bill 2016. This bill was read the first time on 5th October. The bill, as a House bill, seeks to establish the Federal Capital Territory Water Board to align with the present situation. You may wish to put the question, but the bill now be read the second time.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the bill the Federal Capital Territory Water Board Establishment Bill 2016, HB 318, be read second time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Federal Capital Territory Water Board and for matters connected therewith, 2016, second reading.
bill for an act to establish the Federal Capital Territory Water Board and for matters connected there with 2016 second reading. This bill is referred to the Committee on Federal Capital Territory. Report back in 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
The last bill for the second reading is a bill for an act to, a House bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Oil and Gas Content Development Act 2010, Bill 2016. The bill was read the first time on the floor on the 26th May 2016. This bill also seeks to amend the Nigerian Oil and Gas Content Development Act 2010 bill to align with the present realities. It's a House bill. It has been scrutinized by House. My distinguished colleagues, I will urge the Senate President to put the question for the bill is read the second time.
I'll put the question. Those in favor that the Nigeria Oil and Gas Content Development Act 2004 Amendment Bill 2016 be read the second time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Nigeria Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act 2010 and for purpose connected therewith 2016 second reading.
46. A bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act 2010 and for purposes connected therewith 2016 second reading. This bill is referred to the committee, both the Committee on Gas and Committee on Petroleum Upstream. Report back in 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, having concluded today's proceedings on the order paper, I hereby move that this Senate do stand adjourned to Tuesday, 18th October 2016 at 10 a.m. prompt.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that this Senate hereby stand adjourned till Tuesday, 18th of October 2016 at 10 a.m. prompt. I so second, Mr. President.
Mr. Colleagues, just before I put the question, two announcements. For next week on Wednesday, the 19th, we'll be having the debate on medium-term economic framework just for us to prepare for that debate. And then on Tuesday, 18th, we'll be taking the constitutional report and taking the vote on the confirmation of the two Supreme Court judges, which probably will be all things set up by electronic voting. So just to prepare ourselves for that. I'll put this question. Those in favor that the we hereby adjourn till Tuesday, 18, 10 a.m. from say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate is hereby adjourned to Tuesday, 18th of October 2016 at 10 a.m. prompt.